Chapter 62 to 63. In Otherworld, several powerful beings are gathered at a palace. They were Michael A. Manas inside Rudra's body, Feldway the Phantom King, 3 Phantom Commanders, Insector King Zelenus, Fen the True Titan and a Demon Butler. So everyone has arrived in time. Let me introduce myself. I am Asmodeus, servant of great ********. Today I have invited you all for a single aim. To defeat demon lords and took control of Cardinal World. Quote, I didn't knew you got yourself a master. It must be some interesting being to give you a name. Then why are we so concerned about Demon Lord Rimuru? Let me take care of him. Michael said confidently. You have no idea about Demon Lord Rimuru's strength, Michael. If you face him now you will be defeated. My master doesn't want to waste someone like you. We must proceed with this plan my master has created. We have to weaken Demon Lord Rimuru's forces. We will attack different location at the same time. We have advantage in our army's strength. First we should know about our forces. 3 Phantom Commanders with Feldway, Insector Army led by Insector King Zelenus, Eastern Empire lead by Michael, Granbel Rosso and his forces, Titan Army lead by Dagruel Brothers, 7 Executioners led by Zero. 3 Fallen Angels Dino, Pico, Garasha, Velgrind, Chaos Dragon, me and my master. First one to make a move will be my servants who will attack Lubrius in absence of Luminos. They will destroy the barriers protecting the capital. After the barrier is destroyed, Chaos Dragon will be unleashed on the nation. At the same time, Granbel and his forces will distract Luminous and her force. I will then unseal the hero Chronoa. That should be more than enough to defeat Luminous, but we know Rimuru won't let them be destroyed so easily. He will likely send reinforcement. If reinforcement prove to be capable of handle the situation, then Dagruel army will attack the Long Gate. Upon my signal, Insector army will attack Demon Lord Milam's territory. And the last one to attack will be Eastern Empire. Michael, you will attack Tempest with your full force. Don't worry about Rimuru. He won't make a move carelessly. And when he make a move you, my master and Feldway will attack at the same time. Quote, so your plan is to scatter Rimuru's forces and allies. But what about Guy Crimson? He won't sit quietly if the whole world is attacked. Feldway asked. Well, we already have solution. Velzard, you can control her because of angelic skill like Velgrind. We can engage everyone strong enough to cause a problem in our plan. Milam will be busy dealing with Zelenus, Guy with Velzard, Veldora with Asura, Luminous with Granbel. Then remain of us will attack Tempest with all our might. No matter how strong he is, he can't handle so many of us. Demon explained. It's truly his excellent plan. Now I am more afraid of your master. Zelenus said. You don't have to be afraid of me, Zelenus. A mysterious figure entered the hallway. Its aura was so imposing that everyone in that room has shiver ran down their body. Everyone present in this room were all powerful beings, some even comparable to true dragons, but its presence was so frightening that they couldn't even move an inch. He has an overwhelming haki strong enough to kill even demon lord seeds like Clayman. You. What are you doing here? Feldway was the first one to respond. Don't tell me you called us here to dispose all of us. Michael shouted. Relax, relax, I am not here to do anything to you all. I just want to defeat him, that's why I am here asking for your help. We are allies, right? That figure said. Yeah, my master just wanted to meet you before our invasion to avoid any confusion. Relax everyone. Demon clammed everyone. Now they all understood. The threat of Demon Lord Rimuru. If someone as strong as him is joining hands with them to defeat Rimuru, then he is even bigger threat than Guy Crimson. Holy Capital Lubrius. Cathedral of Lubrius are evaded by Granbel and his group. It consists of Hero Granbel, Blood Shadow private force of Rosso family consisting of many other worlders strengthened by Mariabel's skill, Maria. Testarossa, 3 clowns and Lewis entered the vicinity of Cathedral greeted by Granbel Rosso. It's pleasure to meet you, Primordial White Blanc. It's my first time seeing you here in Western Nation. So it's true infamous demoness trio are serving Demon Lord Rimuru. Quote, now I have name, it's Testarossa given to me by my Lord Rimuru. I will be happy if you call me that. Saying this, Testarossa launched an attack. Nuclear cannon. Granbel blocked it with his sword, Truth. Testarossa has chosen her prey. She knew other than him no one here can handle the hero. Laplace and others also choose their target and were about to attack Blood Shadow. Suddenly from a rift between space 2 angels appear. A petite girl with green eyes and light blonde hair tied in pigtails. She wears a violet shirt with gold trim, a short black skirt, violet striped stockings, white boots, and a black shawl. On her back are the 3 sets of wings iconic to a seraph class angel. And other one was a dark-skinned woman with wavy red hair and golden eyes. She wears a sleeveless outfit mixed with yellow and black fabric and pieces of silver-like armor. She wears similarly colored gloves and has a shield bearing a design that resembles seraphim wings as its emblem. They were primordial angels Pico and Garasha. Hey, are you kidding? What are they doing here? Louis laughed nervously. Obviously he was aware about the identity of these two angels. They were the beings born during Genesis of creation. He knew the difference in their abilities but choose to fight and attack Pico. If they don't handle these two, Testarossa have to fight all three awakened level beings by herself. No matter how strong she is, she can't defeat them all. His attack was blocked by Pico's armor. Blood Ray. He condensed the magicals and converted them into a powerful ray. It was his most powerful attack but it didn't left a single dent in her armor. I will help you, Louis-san. Laplace also joined him. Laplace was good at sneak attacks so he took the position of attacker while Louis acted as the defender. He blocked Pico's attack while Laplace continued attacking her. They could at least buy some time for Luminous to come but Footman and Tear were not so lucky. Their opponent was muscular Garasha with a longsword and shield. No matter what they tried they can't get past her defense, it was futile. Members of Blood Shadow were engaged in fight by 7 great nobles and Lightus. Their strength was increased by burning their life force, they each possessed strength comparable to unawakened Clayman. But they didn't have much experience so Lubrious' army was able to fight them off. Testarossa was also struggling against Granbell. She has evolved into a demon peer, but her opponent was a true hero. He was further strengthened by Zero. He was given a god-grade shield which has property of magic nullification, it could even block disintegration. His EP was more than 8 million and together with his ultimate skill Hope King Sariel, he was overwhelming her. Testarossa, a demon whose main weapon is magic is unable to use it in this situation. She was able to fight him because of her experience, otherwise she would have already been defeated. She was fighting with Granbell using just her sword, it was covered by her haki. What happened Blanc? You are on defensive this whole battle, don't you want to defeat me? Well even if you could defeat me, you can't handle the beast which is about to be unleashed. A massive aura enveloped the cathedral. Whole cathedral collapsed and a mysterious being emerged. It was Hero Chronoa. Testarossa was distracted by sudden emergence of this mysterious being. Granbell taking advantage of the situation launched his most powerful attack. Melt Strike. Most was more powerful than Hinata's Melt Slash. Rather than slashing at the target, it instead involves launching disintegration as a beam of light from their sword. It's a level above Hinata's Melt Slash, both in range and power. He was about to kill her when someone blocked his slash. It was Demon Lord Luminous. Reinforcement has arrived with Luminous, Hinata, Gunther, Arno and Yuki. Leave him to me. So Granbell you were the one behind this whole mess. I shall defeat you here in this land. She announced and summoned her sword, Night Rose. Testarossa was fatally injured by Granbell's Melt Strike, his most powerful attack. Her body started to disintegrate. Sorry Rimuru-sama, looks like my time in Cardinal World is up. I will come back in few centuries. Quote, less than no you won't go anywhere. Take this power and be used to me. Greater than. She heard a strange voice and in an instant, she was overwhelmed by the new profound power. She has evolved into Devil Lord without going into evolutionary sleep and has acquired an ultimate skill. Ultimate skill, Belial Lord of Underworld. EP, 5.3 million rising. It must be work of Rimuru-sama. I am thankful for your kindness my lord, now it's time to prove myself worthy of your kindness. I won't disappoint you this time. She took control of all the magicals and rebuilt herself. Now her Oracle body has evolved into mythical grade. She created a sword with material creation and covered it with the effects of her skill Belial, Death Rays and engaged in a battle against Hero Chronoa. Footman and Tear were about to get killed when Luminous and Hinata arrived. Hinata blocked Garasha's sword with her own sword. This new Phantom Riper was given to her by Rimuru, it is a god-grade sword along with a god-grade armor. After wearing the equipment she has become a spiritual life form, Saint. Her EP has also increased to just under 2 million. Footman Tear, you are fine right. It was their boss Yuki. They are covered in brushes, but was safe from any fatal damage. He gave them full portion and allowed knights to escort them to safe place. Yuki slowly observed his surrounding, it was disastrous. Luminous was fighting against Granbell but Granbell seemed to be on commanding position. He can't believe Granbell was this powerful. He looked like a completely different being equipped with a jet black armor, a shield which can block magical attacks and a shining sword. Yuki couldn't help Luminous as Granbell was much stronger and it would only hinder her. While on Laplace's side, with the arrival of Gunther, Lewis and Laplace are able to fight against Pico, who doesn't not see Sirius at all. He looked towards Chronoa and Testarossa battle and it was something he couldn't even clearly see it, let alone join her. So he ultimately decided to help Hinata. He took out his 2 daggers and joined the fight. Hinata and Yuki are both saints with EP above 1.5 meters, but Garasha EP surpassed that of 6 million and her skill allowed her to predict their next move. Yuki has covered his daggers with effects of anti-skill, but it was not even able to bypass her defenses. Garasha's shield was of better quality than his daggers. Hinata was also on the same boat. Garasha's attack perception was superior than Mathematician's predication. Yuki, we should focus on evading her attacks, even one strike can prove fatal to us. You, distract her while I try to attack her with my sword. Hinata suggested parrying her longsword. Garasha longsword single attack was capable to damaging a saint's spiritual body, they can't even afford relax for a moment. Yuki's attacks were ineffective against her, only Hinata's weapons could pass through her defense, but difference between their strength was too much pass. In fact, Garasha was an opponent comparable to Luminous. Her skills were also superior. In fact, the longer the fight goes on they will lose for sure, as their energy or decreases rapidly trying to match her. Garasha's accord of energy gave her full understanding of her and her opponent's energy. She could effectively use her magicals without much loss. Yuki's anti-skill was ineffective against her as her abilities are passive and it won't work on it, while her defense was covered by a god-grade shield, Circle Shield. He was getting frustrated by this, he started to make mistake, and then, badamp, he received a kick from Garasha. It was powerful enough to bypass his defenses and destroy his left hand. Shit, we can't win like this. He used full portion to recover from the injuries. You fool, focus your all attention here in the battle, otherwise we both will die. We just have to wait till Luminous or others emerge victorious, then we can defeat her. Do you get it? Hinata scolded him, still engaged in battle against Fallen Angel. Yuki got up and joined the battle once again. Yuki and Hinata are fighting the original angel Garasha. She was much stronger than both of them combined and Yuki's skill was practically useless against her. They were barely able to survive the fight, and major reason they could last so long was Garasha's unwillingness to kill them. Yuki was acting as the defender while Hinata was the attacker. Hinata, do you have any plan? How should we deal with her? My shield won't last longer. At this rate we are going down on few more attacks. Yuki's shield was a legendary grade equipment, but against Garasha's god grade longsword it couldn't last much longer. Hinata decided to use everything she had in her next attack. You continue to block her attacks, I am going all out on next one. I will attack her using Melt Slash and after it pierce her, use your anti-skill to stop her regeneration, got it? Closing square bracket. Hinata imbued disintegration into her sword and got ready to attack her. Garasha, Pico, what are you doing? Quickly deal with these enemies, we don't have time to waste her. Feldway gave them command and for the first time, original angels became serious in the battle. Melt Slash. Hinata launched herself at Garasha with her attack, she tried countering it with her own attack. Their attacks produced a massive collision and everyone around was blown away. Once dust settled down, Garasha was on her knees while Hinata was lying unconscious on the ground. Ah, so sleepy. Hinata was on the edge of a bottomless abyss, fighting against an almost irresistible temptation. Her life flashed before her eyes, the memories from her childhood to the present. Right, I remember now. When I was young, my father would spend time playing with me. Since she could only see the present, she had forgotten these important memories. In the past, Hinata once had a normal family. But everything went to hell when Hinata's father's company went bankrupt. Had father not strayed to devious ways, mother would not have gone insane. Hinata didn't have even the slightest intention of imagining just how much her father was suffering. That was why, even to this day, she still hated him. She lived in hatred, trying to escape from the unfortunate reality that was her family. Unable to forgive her father's sin, Hinata focused the blame on him to justify her own actions. A common trait in humans was that their hearts were weak. Her father was the same. Had the family supported each other, perhaps things would have ended differently. Perhaps it's laughable for someone like me to act all high and mighty about justice. Perhaps that's why I pursued the shadow of my father in that man. This sense of justice, regardless of if he denied it, she felt saved by his unbounded good-heartedness. Hinata's heart had struggled and was about to burst until the one that brought enlightenment to her and put her at ease had undoubtedly. With that being said, that was just what Hinata thought. He would probably be very troubled if she shared this sentiment with him. But sometimes she let herself dwell on this sweet and tempting possibility that perhaps he would accept it. Wouldn't that make me just like what Granbell said? After all this time, I still couldn't forgive myself. Realizing this, she felt rather melancholic. All her life, Hinata had been burdened by the thought that her actions were unforgivable. Had she not been the person she was, Mother would not have felt sad. Even if she were to go back to her original world, no one would celebrate her return. That's why she decided to help as many people in this world instead. I want to save as many people as possible, this thought became Hinata's driving force. But I have grown tired. I just want to rest in this dark abyss. And slowly, Hinata's consciousness was devoured by darkness. Her senses disappeared, her doubts vanished, and she had no more regrets. You can't fall asleep. An intense call woke Hinata up. Is that Chloe? This thought brought Hinata back to reality. No, this was hardly what you'd call reality. Her circumstances were extremely peculiar. Through a window floating in midair, she could see the world outside. Or rather, she did not see through her eyes, but instead could feel it through her heart. That's because Hinata Onichan is inside me. What does that? Before Hinata could ask, she recalled what had happened to her. Alright, I was struck by Granbell, but am I not dead? As all her memories slowly came back, Hinata fell into a state of confusion. Even with her, mathematician, running at full capacity, she couldn't reach a logical answer. In fact, it was already a miracle that she was able to use her skill under these circumstances. I will explain everything to you. Just try and stay conscious. Now then, I hope you can synchronize with me. Synchronize. Yes, can you see a light ahead? Hearing this, Hinata concentrated her mind in the direction Chloe spoke of. Soon enough, she could see a dim light in the direction of her voice. Yes, over there. Hinata approached the light. It felt as if she was physically moving her body, while in reality, only her consciousness was moving forward. And then, the moment Hinata's consciousness came into contact with the light, her consciousness was tinged with rainbow light. A while later, have you woken up? This is, looks like you've stabilized. Here's the thing, Hinata Onichan. You can just call me Hinata. Got it. Here's the thing, Hinata is inside me, in my soul, in particular. If not for this, Hinata would have been devoured by infinite prison. I think this is the first time that something like this has happened to you, so you must be confused, but this is all true. Hearing her words, Hinata began to understand her situation. She quickly realized the reason behind her not having a body and that her soul was inside Chloe. And the infinite prison Chloe mentioned was the bottom of that dark abyss. And so, Hinata expressed her gratitude. I see, thanks for waking me up. Chloe explained many things to Hinata later. According to her, when Hinata was struck, her soul ended up in Chloe's. Normally, your soul would leave your body after death and slowly dissipate in the air. However, due to Hinata's soul interfering with Chloe's, it led to such an incredible event. This explanation alone was still not convincing enough for Hinata, but there was something else on her mind. Agitated, Hinata interjected. By the way, is Rimuru all right? What about Lumina-sama? What happened to Granbell? However, Chloe remained calm. Please calm down and listen to me. This is the ancient era. Look there, can you see that mountain? Yeah, could that be the spirit hill of Mount Leora? But where is this? If going by geolocation, shouldn't this be the holy land of Lubilius? It was only natural for Hinata to feel confused. The only thing she could see was the vague summit of Mount Leora, far in the distance. Since there was nothing in the way, she could see things far away. Indeed, they were standing in an empty plain. However, to her knowledge, this should be a city. Yet there was nothing there. She wouldn't want to consider the other possibility, that the city had been wiped out entirely due to the earth-shattering battle among powerful individuals. However, if that were the case, there wouldn't be any grass growing here. In other words, I know that it's a bit hard to believe, but I am not lying. Chloe was right. In short, this was the Holy Land, or where the Holy Land was meant to be in the future. Hinata and Chloe had traveled through time to the ancient era before the nation of Lubilius had even been born. It was said that Luminos would move her nation here in another 2,000 years or more from now. With that being the case, there's no way. Despite her realization, Hinata couldn't help her utterance. No way, this is way too strange, Hinata thought doubtfully. Chloe, how can you tell that this is the past? Indeed, that was her question. Even if Hinata was to accept something as ridiculous as time travel, how would Chloe know that this was the past? Wouldn't there also be a possibility that this was a future where everything was destroyed? Indeed, not only were there no buildings around, there was no trace of any human occupation either. Since there weren't any ruins, it was more likely to be the past. But even if that were the case, the ruins could be buried underground, so surely, she could not have concluded that it was the past. Yet, Chloe had spoken without hesitation. That was why Hinata was in doubt. Seeing Hinata's reaction, Chloe replied with a smile. It's simple, because this isn't the first time I've been here. Every time I lost control over my power, I went back to the past. Since I've been to this place before, I remembered. Hinata thought to herself. She couldn't say anything out of shock. As she processed, she began to gradually accept Chloe's explanation and tried to understand the situation more. Well, I guess you will explain to me in detail what this is all about, right? Hinata asked, determined. Chloe's explanation was indeed very shocking to Hinata. It appeared that Chloe's skill involved time leaping. Emphasis on appeared, because Chloe didn't know this too well herself, either. She mentioned that she couldn't consciously activate it. At most, she could recall some events from the past. However, that alone shouldn't be underestimated. This past was relative to Chloe's own experiences. And since she had been time leaping over and over, her version of the past included events in the linear future of the timeline. However, she couldn't seem to recall all her memories clearly. Human memories could be very ambiguous at times. One may not be able to recall what happened exactly at what time. It was especially so when having over 2,000 years worth of memories. It was far too difficult to solve the issue. When did you awaken this power? Hinata asked. Chloe thought for a bit before answering. Well, when I was rescued by Rimuru-sensei. In order to stabilize me and the other children, Rimuru-sensei brought us to the dwelling of the spirits to host a spirit, but Chloe explained that the thing that had taken her as its host was not a spirit, but her power from the future. Somehow, her power was self-aware. I think I died in the future. That's why it seems to repeatedly come back to me at that point in time. In other words, the dwelling of the spirits is where your awakening starts. No, that's not it. At the time, I don't remember anything. But I will regain my memories the moment I go back in time. Then you've been repeating the same thing over and over. It seems to be the case. I can only remember the details from the last time I was here. Although, there are memories from different lives mixed up in there at times. I see, Hinata thought to herself. She was reassured by Chloe's words. Hinata and Chloe decided to first visit one of the few acquaintances they had who was actually alive in this era, Luminos. Chloe started off without hesitation. Do you know where she is, though? There was a massive battle over there, and I went check it out. Was it because of Veldora? Even though he is friends with Rimuru-san now, he was an enemy before. It looked like he was fighting someone, so I wanted to help. Is that so? That someone was Luminos, right? Yeah, I want to go early this time before Veldora-san causes any trouble to tell everyone to evacuate. I will try to get Luminos to trust me and help me. Chloe sure was determined. She also had a good sense of direction, unlike Rimuru. She didn't need Hinata's advice at all, and they made it to their destination without once losing their way. And so, they arrived at Luminos's castle. So this is Night Rose. No wonder Luminos-sama was so proud of it. It was a beautiful castle. Even though it was completely man-made, it looked like an entirely natural fortress. It held a great sense of majesty to it. There were sharp ridges like the thorns of roses in various places. Those seemed to be guards' outposts. Soon enough, someone noticed Chloe approaching the castle, and a large number of vampires ran out. Chloe spoke up to the soldiers surrounding her. I am here to see Luminos, please lead the way. Hinata was surprised at her words. Hold on. Do you think they'll let you leave in one piece with you calling Luminos by her name here? Even with Hinata's warning, Chloe was composed. It's all right, I am friends with Luminos. Wouldn't that be after you saved them from Veldora's wrath? You are a total stranger now. It was then that Chloe realized that she had confused her memories. Ah, right, I've done this too many times and thought they already finished fighting. And I always get scolded by Hinata for this too. Of course you'd get scolded, Hinata thought. Regardless, she began to worry about how things would turn out as well. Indeed, even though Chloe had gotten used to her situation, this was a first for Hinata. It's better to have a fresh view when dealing with these things, Hinata thought to herself. That's why Hinata proposed that she should take charge for Chloe. Listen now, Chloe, let me give you advice. Don't reply immediately, but listen to my opinion first. Got it. I figured this would be better too. If I accidentally say the wrong thing, history could be changed. At Chloe's prompt agreement, Hinata felt a bit reassured. However, upon realizing the significance of the words she just said, it also sent shivers down her spine. Hold on a second, she's right. Any slight deviation can alter history. We have such a hopeful future, but if we were to do something wrong, wouldn't it all be for nothing? At this, Hinata realized that her stopping Chloe's reckless act was the right thing to do. Even though she had just made a major mistake, it was fine as long as she avoided repeating her mistake later. It's still salvageable, Hinata thought to herself. Soon after, they were brought before Luminos. Of course, it was not as simple as it sounded. Chloe had to force the soldiers to let her pass. Furious to the point of trembling, Hinata snapped at Chloe, seriously, do you even remember what I just said? It's fine, I've had similar experiences in the past, said Chloe, casually. I had to barge in so I could inform her about Veldora's attack. She sounded as if she had done nothing wrong. Since she claimed that she had done this in the past, Hinata couldn't come up with a retort. Luckily enough, we haven't had any problems. By the looks of this, I'll have to have another look at the information we have. The thought in itself induced a headache. Hinata sighed. That evil dragon will come here soon, you say? Yes, I know Luminos is strong, but you won't be able to win against Veldora. He will destroy the castle too, so it's best if you can all take shelter as soon as possible. Although Hinata's mathematician analyzed Luminos's personality and said it was fine to tell Luminos the truth, Hinata still felt uneasy. Is this really okay? Obviously, they wouldn't tell her the whole truth. Some important parts had to be left out. I do not know you, so I cannot trust you easily. Do you have any proof? Luminos's tone turned a bit gentler. But that was nothing to be reassured about. That was just an act to bait the foolish. Hinata knew this well enough, which was why she began to advise Chloe calmly. She acquired information about what year they were in from Chloe, and by processing all the information in her head, Hinata calculated the time Veldora would invade. At the fastest, Veldora will arrive here in 2 weeks. At a minimum, he will come by fall, so you must be on guard. Luminos was no fool. She could tell if Chloe was lying by analyzing her heart rate and such. Even though Chloe could be lying, she did intimidate those proud soldiers like they were nothing. So there was no reason for her to be a liar. In the end, Luminos decided to drop the decision of trusting her or not, and instead allowed Chloe to stay at the castle. Later on, Veldora came. Luminos fought valiantly. While Chloe wanted to join Luminos in battle, she was stopped by Hinata. Listen closely now, you did not fight against Veldora here in the previous timeline, right? But then you should forget about the other memories. The important thing here is to repeat what you did last time. You must tell Luminos about the future in order to win her trust. However, you must not tell her what happens in the future. This was important, so Hinata repeated it. You only need to follow the road you took last time, so it connects the past with the future we came from. Overwhelmed by her determination, Chloe could only nod in agreement. If Chloe were to share her memories of the future, for instance, Granbel's betrayal, Luminos would undoubtedly take him out quickly. In that way, it may be impossible for Chloe and Hinata to return to the future where they came from. It had to be avoided no matter what. Hinata and Chloe reconfirmed this. Even though the castle was destroyed by Veldora, due to Chloe's active involvement, there weren't many casualties. This therefore aligned with the history Hinata knew. Since Veldora's attack proved Chloe right, Luminos seemed to trust Chloe too. And so Luminos and Chloe became good friends. In her secret chamber, Luminos met with Chloe. So you've leapt through time on several occasions already, Chloe. I have about 2,000 years worth of memories. Would you like to hear it out? Very much so, do tell. With Luminos's approval, Chloe began to tell her about herself. That was of course while consulting with Hinata. Chloe told Luminos that she would be active as a hero for 2,000 years. I see, and you intend to change the future? No, I hope it will be aligned as closely as possible. Any major changes would likely result in a very different future. I suppose you have a point. I wouldn't complain about a future like that either. But if I must say, I would not accept the fact that the person called Hinata was killed. I have never even met this friend, so I don't know what to expect, Luminos said smiling. Luminos, thank you. I never thought you'd say this, I am truly happy. It was rather unbelievable that Luminos would say this due to her cold appearance. But she was, in heart, very kind. Hinata knew that very well. Then I promise to be at your aid. It might be difficult to convince Roy, but everyone else should be fine. I will let everyone know that you are my friend. Luminos's eyes sharpened. So, what is your plan for the future? In response, Chloe declared, very naturally, just like before, I want to become a hero and help those in need. Seeing how straightforward she was, Luminos smiled brightly. Is that so? How interesting. It's also quite intriguing to know the person your fate revolves around. What should you be known as then? Chloe and Hinata paused a bit. It probably would be bad if the name Chloe becomes widely known. Leon Onichan will definitely find out about it. Regardless, neither Hinata nor anyone else ever found out the actual name of the hero anyway. Even though they had given Luminos her actual name, it was best that they hide this from the world. What should we do? What did you do before? Well, I've always come up with a random name. Usually I don't have to give any name before leaving. Then you should do the same. Hinata was about to say this when she recalled Rimuru words. He complained a lot about the trouble he had when naming monsters. That's why Hinata decided to throw out a name she thought of in that instant. Right, since your name is Chloe, and have the unique skill, time travel, we can combine it with the god of time, Chronos, to be, Chronoa. Why not Chronoa? We'd get exposed quite easily if we spelled it that way, no? Ah, you have a point. Got it, then I shall be called, Chronoa. Using Hinata's mathematician to accelerate their internal conversation, they had this emergency conference to quickly decide the alias they would use. Call me Chronoa. It's best that the world doesn't learn my real name. From today onward, I shall be Chronoa the hero. And so, the name, Chronoa, left its mark in this world. Leaving behind the ruined castle, Luminos and her men left for a new home. Naturally, Chloe also came along. Now that I think about it, why did my usurper disappear too? I'm not sure, but I think Hinata's power would always merge with mine in the end. Chloe paused at that. It seemed to be somewhat difficult for her to talk about. Judging from her attitude, Hinata could guess how that ended. Never mind, it's fine. It's only a matter of time. By the way, you're stealing my skill after taking the name. Chronoa, from me is really similar to naming a monster. Oi, wasn't that a bit rude? Ah, sorry, I meant no harm. Hinata can be so mean sometimes. What a waste of your beauty, no one's gonna fall for you like this. Shut up already, it doesn't matter since I'm already dead anyway. The two cheerfully bantered as they continued on their journey. After parting with Luminos and her men, Chloe actively used the identity of a hero just as she declared. Time passed. It was almost 300 years before their time leap, when Veldora was sealed. Having lived for this extensive period of time, just like before, Chloe learned absolute severance and infinite prison. Hinata, with her unique skill, mathematician, had also been supporting Chloe while inside her body. As this matched the timeline, Chloe casually declared, I'm going to seal Veldora now. This was what Chloe said after reuniting with Luminos. I see, I do recall you mentioning that. But are you really sure about this? Luminos seemed worried. Unlike before, now Chloe and Luminos were very close friends. There won't be a problem. After all, I have Hinata with me. Chloe had also revealed Hinata's existence to Luminos alone. Luminos accepted another soul within Chloe very quickly. That's good to know. Just don't push yourself too much. Don't worry, I'll handle fighting with Veldora, Hinata said. It seemed that it was Chloe's first time hearing Luminos so bewildered. But Hinata didn't mind it at all and spoke in a firm tone. I actually fought with Veldora once. At the time, the situation then flashed through Hinata's mind. Kua ha 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 ha, so weak, so weak. This is supposed to be humanity's guardian. Don't make me laugh. Phew, Kusushkusu, what is it? You can't get up already. How unbearable, the price I'd pay to no defeat. All right then, it's about time for me to end this. I don't have that much time to play around. That was about how it went down. It was a rather humiliating memory for Hinata. Things happened. I'll have to give him a good beating to ease my grudge against him. Chloe could tell from her tone that she was serious. Luminos was serious too. I can understand your feelings. I would like to see that lizard bite the dust for once. I managed to make him show me every skill he had. This is a great opportunity. I'm sure we can use it to our advantage during battle. Hinata and Luminos happily discussed how to punish Veldora. In Chloe's memory of the future, Veldora had spent time playing with her, so she didn't hate Veldora as much. However, knowing how violent he was in the past, she didn't feel like defending him that much. I don't really know about your past grievances with him, but please hold back a little. Veldora-san is actually a very nice person. So in the end, Chloe let Hinata have her own way with him. During the battle against Veldora, Hinata was in full control. With Chloe's assistance, they managed to seal Veldora completely. Gua! Hearing Veldora's furious roar, the beautiful face behind the mask twisted with satisfaction. And with that, Hinata handed the control of the body back to Chloe. Chloe's time was about to come to an end. That point between past and present was approaching. I haven't mentioned this to you guys before, but I will be disappearing soon. Chloe, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Chloe had kept it a secret this whole time, but she intended to tell them now. The truth is, Hinata had half guessed this. Soon enough, Leon would appear in the history Hinata knew. Since Leon and Chloe were thought to have come to this world together, it would cause a special situation where two of the same person existed in the same era at the same time. If one were to take the multiverse theory as truth, the idea that new universes, including parallel worlds, emerged one after the other, yet also at the same time, then perhaps having two Chloes at the same time was plausible. However, if assuming there was only one world, Chloe's unique skill, time travel, was an abnormal case, to the extent that the notion of multiple worlds shouldn't be surprising. In any case, it was still hard to believe for Hinata. It was more logical to think that the world was being remade. Or else, if many versions of themselves existed in many worlds, Hinata and Chloe's efforts would be meaningless in the grand scale of things. If there is a world that will be saved, then there is another that will perish. Hinata found this idea hard to accept. That was why she made up her mind to end Chloe's endless cycle and save the world. It didn't matter if she had to be sacrificed in doing so. However, there was also a problem. And that was what Chloe had just said. By the looks of it, my theory seems to be correct. There really was only one world, and it did not allow the existence of a paradox. No, that's not entirely true. It's not that it doesn't allow the existence of a paradox. It just stops the world from collapsing. If there was something strong enough, such as the creation of the mask, then even the paradox couldn't destroy it, and instead only twist its existence. Otherwise, there's no way to explain the existence of the peculiar mask. Whilst relieved that her reasoning appeared sound, the thought of what would happen plunged Hinata's heart into darkness once more. She knew that what would happen next was entirely based on luck, their fate would fall into someone else's hands. That's why I won't have memories from that moment on. I think Hinata will probably take over afterward and help save Shizu-sensei. Me too, so I can only come into play until my future self who doesn't know anything comes, right? What do you think would happen next? In the future, Luminos had always kept something very important to her. Now that Hinata thought about it, it was probably the sealed chronoa. I vaguely recall losing control and going berserk. But that probably wasn't me, but a different personality. Hinata suddenly recalled her naming of chronoa. The moment she gave Chloe that name, it robbed Hinata of her skill. It finally dawned on her that chronoa might actually be something akin to a monster. Anyhow, Chloe will lose consciousness soon, right? That is probably what happens when two of the same entity exist at the same place in spacetime continuity. Hinata, I believe your theory is correct. Right, and then, Chloe's younger self will be physically transported to that time period since she'll have just been summoned. It would most likely be the case. That's why, Hinata, even though I know asking you to do something like this is. It's fine. After saving Shizu-sensei, I will go and ask help from Luminos-sama. Please leave it to me. I shall craft a holy art using holy power to isolate you from the world. I will find your souls in the future myself, and then completely unbind the seal. Chloe, Hinata and Luminos. The three remained united in heart. All was entrusted to Luminos. After Chloe's consciousness disappeared, Hinata was alone. Apart from proving her theories to be true, she was also hit by a great sense of unease and pressure. She felt uneasy because she was lonely. On the other hand, she was pressured by a strong will raging within her body, attempting to take over their shared body. It was tiring suppressing this will. Chronoa is raging after its master Chloe disappeared. But I never imagined its power to be so strong. Despite her shock, Hinata bent it to her will with her steely resolve. Hinata went to Leon's castle and rescued Shizu, handing her the mask successfully. Now that this mysterious mask had been given to Shizu, Hinata had a major breakthrough. And even though Hinata couldn't show any of her yearning for Shizu, she traveled with her. Their journey, however, eventually came to an end. The day came, where they had to part. While Hinata wanted to spend more time with Shizu, she could not do so. Perhaps due to the prolonged absence of Chloe's main personality, Hinata was beginning to have a hard time controlling Chronoa. If this were to continue, their plan could fail. And all of this would have been for nothing. In the end, Hinata bid farewell to Shizu according to the history she knew and went to seek Luminos's help. Hinata never truly found out what Chronoa was in the end. Instead, Luminos used her power to seal Hinata in the Holy Ark. Soon, she herself, completely ignorant of all their history, would come here. What would happen to the slumbering Hinata? If she were lucky, perhaps she would remain unaffected. But if not, the one to awaken first might be Chronoa. But even so, there had to be. I believe you will be able to find a solution, Rimuru. Reminiscing about Rimuru she'd missed, Hinata fell into a deep sleep with a smile. To be continued.